Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Excalibur, issue number 7. I gotta admit, man, I'm really glad I'm sticking with this book. I'm glad that I stuck through all the stuff that I didn't like because this is actually a really fun book. It's interactive, it's engaging, and just, yeah, I don't know about interactive. You get what I'm saying. All right, let's get started on who made this comic book. We'll start talking about the book itself. Tini Howard is the writer. Oh man, Milton Santos is on pencils. What happened to Marcus Toe? Oren Jr. on inks, Eric Arcianega on colors, VC's Corey Petit doing the letters, Tom Mueller on design, Muhammad Asrar and Matthew Wilson doing the cover, and Ben Oliver doing the variant cover. Only one variant cover now. Amazing. Jonathan Hickman is the head of X. And this is verse 7, the unspeakable and the uneatable. I don't know where the uneatable came from, but okay. Wouldn't that be unedible? Oh, whatever. Anyway, so there's a big hubbub about Betsy and her brother being in, Betsy's brother, Jamie, actually being in charge of Camelot and whatnot. She goes and she talks to Apocalypse. Excuse me, his name now is... I mean, I would hate to be the letterer in this book. Like, just hold on. Page back really quick. Letters by... VC's Corey Petit. I would hate to be in Corey Petit's shoes right now, man. Like, you got to add this thing to your freaking dialogue. I mean, it's not too bad, I guess, but like, it's the weirdest thing. And actually seeing it's first off, this is the only comic book where they actually continue to do the different letters like as a mainstream, the Krakoan language written form, because like, dude, nobody else is doing it anymore for the most part. But on top of that, it's the only one that's actually calling Apocalypse by his, new name now, the thing, whatever it is. I know it's not but I think it's funny when I say it, so bleh. What do you call it? So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Also, seeing it actually posted in here, it's not a part of it. You see, it's always separate. It's not like a line leading into another line. It's always separated and by itself. So line, a new line, and just the thing, and then it goes on to other stuff. And it's like, dude, that's really freaking weird for me. Like, it's really big, it's boisterous, it's out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is this a word, a name that you have to yell? You could be talking nice and calmly and be like, yes, today I was going down to the Krakoan Islands and I went underground and I met up with and then such and such and such went to so and so. It's like, dude, it's really, really out there, which I guess matches Apocalypse's personality. So even when I'm trying to make fun of it, it makes sense. So we're dealing with the werewolves in this. I did read some of the werewolves in the original Excalibur run, and they were, it was a very silly comic book, and I don't dig silly very much. I'm glad that this comic book isn't silly, even though there are some silly-ish parts. Anyway, it's taking itself more seriously, so I can therefore take the book more seriously. But the werewolves, these guys were always fun. These guys were always fun. They're, these skin wearers and whatnot. Freaking terrifying. I noticed something in this book. Anyway, just the way that it's working and whatnot, there's some weird interactions between Pete Wisdom and this zookeeper, and who maybe is a mutant hater, maybe isn't, who knows, who cares, but because it doesn't seem very overt to me, but, I'm also just reading it, I'm not hearing inflections in tone. But Jubilee goes and hacks the zoo's system. He's talking about it's a matter, Pete Wisdom's talking about it's a governmental matter. Yeah, but is it the government of Krakoa? Because you don't have jurisdiction over me if that's the case. Was it authorized that you could do this on behalf of the government of, the local government of London or Great Britain as a whole? Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? It's a governmental matter. Guy was probably lying. Anyway, because all this was essentially being done on the part of Apocalypse, and Apocalypse, he's pretty much in business for himself anyway. There is a bunch of trust issues brought up. I noticed that, like, Exodus was in the middle of a conversation with Apocalypse when all of a sudden Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, shows up. And she's like, what is he doing here? He's here because he can be here. And later on you find out why he's there, which, cool, it makes perfect sense. The grimoire, necessary, right? So I dug on all of this, and I'm noticing it's cool that mutants can hang out with each other, and even if they don't like each other, they're not afraid of each other. They're not going up in arms immediately against each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. I'm digging on that. There's not the mutant on mutant crimes anymore or whatever. They can actually engage with themselves. Meanwhile, Apocalypse just got killed in the previous issue and then reincarnated. Maybe it was 2 issues ago, but same thing. So they go on this big hunt. They come across the werewolves, and you get to relive the glory of how freaking crazy these guys are. And I loved it. I loved it. Something that I noticed in here, and you know, when I do the live review, I'll probably do that tonight, guys. So that's the night of the 13th. I'll try and do that at like 11 p.m. Tonight. So that's, let's say, Thursday. So yeah, Thursday, 11 p.m. I'll try and get to doing the actual live review for all 3 of the Dawn of X books right now, and ask me questions about anything Dawn of X or Dawn of X related. And, well, you know, it's live, it's interactive, we can all get to it. Hopefully enough of you guys have read the books, whatever, so that we can have it interactive. But as far as this is concerned, excuse me, one thing that I noticed that I really, really enjoyed, and it made me love the comic book a whole lot more than I thought I could. Because mind you, my criticisms of Tini Howard writing this book still stand. But I don't stand behind how vehement I was against it at first. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, this is just silly and blah, 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 because maybe she just needed a little while to actually make the comic book, to build the story, to get it where she wanted it to be. She is essentially starting from scratch like everybody else. And Excalibur is, for me at least, a very derisive book. It's one of those books where it's like, dude, it's all a bunch of silly nonsense running around, and I really didn't like the tone of the original Excalibur. I would go back and read some of the issues and look at key moments and whatnot, a bunch of stuff on Reddit to learn more about, you know, how the Earth 616 works in relation to the other alternate realities and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but I really just did not like the Excalibur comic book as a whole, so I brought a lot of that baggage over with me. And again, I haven't liked a whole lot of anything that Tini Howard has written. Her writing style simply clashes with my reading style, and that's all. You know what I'm saying? Again, nothing personal against her. I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but I just didn't like the book before. Suddenly that's changed. With this issue, I'm actually really enjoying everything. One of the main things that did that to me is I notice, finally, that Tini has actually been changing these characters greatly or ever so slightly. It started with Betsy Braddock becoming Captain Britain. It's like, oh, well, that's actually a big change to the status quo. What up with that? But then you also notice, like, Shogo winds up getting changed, and it's like, oh, he's a dragon now. And really great moment between him, Betsy, and Jubilee. Really good moment there. I enjoyed it when she was like, you know, well, he's not eating. I think I can make him eat. That was really fun. And seeing everything, and then the idea of getting a babysitter so that Jubilee could be free to go off and actually join the team instead of just watching Shogo. So it was actually something that was explained, and that's awesome. And for the sake of conversation, yes, if we had, you know, if Krakoa had daycare for all, you know, saying suddenly we'd be good. You know, take care of the single mamas out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So, Richter, he's been changed, and it's kind of just costume, but it is more than that because he was having a hard time controlling it. Now that he's kind of found his earthly druidic roots in a funny way of looking at it, suddenly he's more powerful. He's like an actual earthbender now, and it's pretty cool. Jubilee herself hasn't really been changed, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Gambit. Like, what little or major differences is Tini going to wind up doing with Gambit? That could be really fun. As far as Rogue only gets it for right now a costume change, a little bit. She gets an addition. You know how werewolves are always wearing our skins? Well, not my skin, but you get what I'm saying, right? She decides to wear a werewolf skin. Oh, how freaking fitting is that? Sorry, can that actually be a permanent part of Rogue's attire from this point on? If Kelly Thompson starts writing the, and I'm sure she would, you know, I'm sure she would. If Kelly Thompson starts writing the Mr. and Mrs. X series again, which I really hope she does, can we please get Rogue wearing that costume? Again, I'm certain that she would. But wow, like, I love the idea that she's got this werewolf pelt draped across her back. She's like, what? Yeah, it's a cloak, that's all. No, it's very fitting. It's very fitting. So little things like this, these are things that are drawing me more and deeper into the comic book. It's pretty much exciting for me at this point. So I'm really genuinely glad that I stuck with it. I know that Hickman's got this thing where it's like, so which one of the Dawn of X books are you reading? Meaning you don't have to read them all, right? Chillmonger turned me on to that tweet that he put on. As for me, I look at it as I want to read them all. And I was reading them all, and I kept on thinking I'm going to drop Excalibur, but I'm glad that I stuck with it this whole time. The way that the previous arc ended, I'm cool with it, and I figured let me try the next issue. Okay, I'm pretty much good. Is this going on my pull list? It's not going on my pull bin just yet, but it may. Honestly, it may. It's a contender, all right? You know, I could have been a contender. You still are a potential contender, all right? This book could wind up going in there. Anyway, guys, I enjoyed this. I'm enjoying the story. If you fell off it, you're checking this out just to see what's what, consider jumping back on it again. With this issue specifically, because this was fun. Can the next issue do the same? I genuinely hope so. I hope we can keep the same tone for this book because I am enjoying it right now. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe. You know, it lets me know if you like the channel. And if you want to check one of these videos, cool. And please consider watching the videos. If an ad shows up at the end, it's the only way that we get paid. Love you guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.